Welcome back everyone. Today's video is going to be a PvE parry guide for the mobs we find in the ice caves. Just ran normals this time. Haven't had enough time to actually play since the first night, staying up late and then going to work and falling asleep at work the next day. And since there's no nightmare mobs and no different attack patterns, I figured we'll do this for now just to get it out there. And then we'll do a high roller one in the future. You know, I think this will be pretty helpful for most of the players out there if you're struggling. We'll start with the archer. The archer has a pretty reliable spot. You're going to aim off the left ear. If you're far away, you're going to aim above the ear. Like you see here, about this distance, you're going to aim right above the ear, right off the head. And this works pretty good, but remember when you pull your block in, your parry in, it lowers your cursor, so you have to adjust. When you're in tight, underneath the ear, right here. This is where you're going to be aiming when you're like gap closing and want to get a riposte off, right? Under the ear. The kobold axemen have a couple different ways to do it, standing and crouching. I've started using the crouch method, but I'm going to show you the standing one first. You can see the diagonal is pretty easy to line up. You got to make sure you space properly though, and you want to back pedal. Just back pedal, don't strafe left or right, because then you'll just miss or you'll get hit, which can be pretty annoying. The vertical attack, you're going to aim off the left, pretty tight to the body. All right, if you aim too far, like right here, you'll take damage, limb damage normally, foot. Likes to hit your big toe. This is why I started crouching though. Crouching is really consistent with both the attacks. So, because you can definitely miss the diagonal attack still when you're standing. But if you crouch, you just crouch, shift left, just one tap of the left key, and then back strafe the whole time, right? Just back strafe, make sure you're kiting. Because if you're not, they can reach too far forward, miss the longsword, and bonk you in the head or bonk you in the eyes. So, back strafe. Aim slightly left, step slightly left, I should say. Crouch down. Works for both attacks pretty consistently. If you strafe, you can miss though. Be careful. Next up, we have the Frost Skeleton Footman. Pretty common enemy throughout most of the modules on the map. So it can be pretty beneficial to learn parrying this guy. The first thrust attack, you got to aim down just above, maybe like thigh height. You can strafe left or right. This is about the spot you're going to always aim though. The diagonal attack, you're off the shoulder height to the right. And this is very consistent because of the way the weapons line up. Just be aware, there seems to be a spot on the blade that isn't physicalized. On their weapon, on the PvE weapon. I had a couple times where I was taking damage despite lining up perfectly, I thought. And it's because it was just phasing right through. So just be aware there is a specific spot that you can miss and take damage even though you think you should have it perfect. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, pretty simple, pretty consistent. If you strafe too much, it'll miss, especially if you strafe right. But be careful doing that is all. Next up is the Frost Skeleton Guardsman. It has a short thrust right here. You back off, step left, very easy to catch. It has a diagonal attack. You need to aim next to its foot, back foot. And this spot's been pretty consistent for me. It can be easy to miss that, kind of like with the Skeleton Champion with that upward diagonal attack, but pretty consistent from that spot. This long stepping forward thrust can be pretty annoying because it has a long hitbox. What I started doing was back strafing and stepping to the left instead. That way it lines up with the blade of the longsword a lot more consistently, right? When you're actually in the parry position. But yeah, the Frost Guardsman's pretty simple. The thrust attacks are pretty easy if you back strafe and go left. I found at least, so you should be able to get consistent with this guy pretty quick. The archer, blocking the arrows is the same as ever. But this little dash attack, I shouldn't call it a dash, it's just a bash, but he dashes forward quite a bit. So it can catch you off guard, so be careful. Also, you can get hit by the top part of his bow pretty easily. So make sure that you're aiming for that side a little more. The Wendigo, pretty crazy enemy, but also very easy to deal with. You're going to crouch, aim straight up, parry the left attack, trade your riposte, and while you're trading your riposte, you kite to the right to get underneath the other swing, the 1-2 swing. Even with taking stupid damage from a mimic and having to deal with using my heal, we still end up clearing this thing pretty reliably without being in any real danger. You need to be careful though. If you miss your first parry, that first one of the 1-2, you can take damage from the second attack if you still have your arms up in the same spot. But just be aware, if you miss, let your arms down. Keep strafing left to dodge the dash attack. You can block the dash attack on the head and on its arm. but honestly, I think you need to just avoid that. Strafe left, parry the first one, kite back to the right to make sure you don't get hit by the 1-2, or the 2 of the 1-2, I should say. And it's pretty simple. Don't forget, its head isn't its weak spot. The giant glowing thing in its chest is actually its weak spot. It can be a little difficult to hit with the longsword outside of the thrust because we have that very, you know, horizontal sweeping attack with the riposte and such. But very easy. Crouch, block the first, strafe right on your second riposte, kite left. The Frost Shield Giant is very inconsistent and very frustrating, honestly. It seems like the shield on its little bash attacks doesn't have like a hitbox until kind of far into the animation when it's moving forward, right? I started jumping, strafing backwards and jumping, trying to aim up, and it wasn't working very well. Trying to create space to catch the back end of the animation. But when you aim a little lower doing this method, I started finding some consistent success. So aim about, you know, stomach height, lower torso. You're going to side strafe and jump back at the start of its attack, right? And you'll be able to more consistently at least catch parries at the back end of its attack animation. Not the most consistent still, because he has a weird attack pattern with his direct line of sight forward thrust with the shield. You can kite it directly towards the side of the attack if you're close to him so you don't take damage. And when you're parrying, I often ended up taking damage and the limbs and then getting the parry. Another method I was trying that I had some minor success with was literally going up to his face and crouching and then parrying it in this method. When he comes with his attack from the right, you have to kind of aim backwards for this to work. When he attacks from the left, you have to kind of kite like half a step to the left before you can actually make sure you don't take damage from parrying it. But I haven't found this to be consistent enough yet to justify telling you guys. Just an idea for you to try. I figured I'd share it with you. My new favorite enemy, the giant berserker. The 1-2 attack, you can parry the head when aiming at this spot right here. Just be aware, it has a 1-2. The horizontal you can sometimes crouch under, but it doesn't work very well all the time. The overhead attack, you need to make sure that you're crouching or you'll take damage from the handle. And you need to kind of aim almost backwards sometimes to react to it. The 1-2 attack, when you're in tight to catch the handle, you're aiming almost off the screen. And then again, make sure you crouch and strafe right. Sometimes you can get under the horizontal attack. I haven't had much consistent success with the crouch lookup parry on the horizontal attacks, which was kind of a bummer. But I think it just might be that the floor is uneven in a lot of the rooms. So sometimes you're below him and sometimes he's above you. And that's just the way it goes sometimes, unfortunately. But these guys they're a lot of fun to fight with the longsword, I think. So I've had a blast with them. We'll look at another one here. You can see the overhead attack, how it moves him so far forward, you end up kind of aiming backwards off the left. This happens for both of the attacks, both overhead attacks with each hand. You can kind of aim up, and then you kind of aim backwards to catch it as it's coming down, okay? And this is, you just got to be reactive with it. There's not much more I can say. It's hard to read it because the attacks come out so fast, and even when you know it, because of the way he moves forward, you can still just take damage. The horizontal attacks can be parried when you're standing upright. You got to aim pretty far to the left. You can see how far I'm aiming and tracking this. But you can catch the handle by the hand, and then you can trade the damage. And it can be pretty consistent doing that. Again, another overhead attack. These are very fun to parry, I'm not going to lie. But you have to react to it. You have to kind of crouch and flick backwards. But it's very rewarding hitting these parries. I really enjoy it. I think the enemy is amazing. And I've had a lot of fun trying to find the parry spots with these guys over the past couple days when I had time to jump on. But I'll leave you guys with the fight against one more. I'm going to take off. That's about all I got for you guys here. I'll get a high roller one done for you in the near future, since the enemies moving forward faster can throw things off. So there's a lot of us out there grinding high roller. I hope you're enjoying the map. I think it's amazing. It's their best map design yet, by far, bar none. Period. It's better than crypts. The mob density needs toned down a bit, I guess, but other than that, I think it's pretty damn amazing. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if the video is helpful. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, and be safe.